So how do you take something like combustion, a chemistry experiment that can be pretty dangerous, and make it safe, easy to understand, and just completely magical for a kid? Well, today, we're going to deconstruct a children's science script all about making rainbow fire to see exactly how they pull this off. Let's break down the super clever ways they turn some pretty hard chemistry into pure magic.
Right out of the gate, the script hits you with this. It's an absolutely perfect hook. It's all about sensory excitement. It doesn't say, "Welcome to chemistry class." No, it promises wonder, a little bit of mystery, and this idea of a secret being unlocked. It's not a lesson. It's being framed as an adventure. And that, right there, is the core strategy from the very beginning. The entire experience is presented not as some dry scientific procedure, but as chemical magic. And that one choice, it changes everything. It replaces any potential intimidation with pure curiosity and turns learning into a kind of game. And you can just hear it in the specific language they use to build that magical frame. The kids aren't students, they're flame painters. This isn't just an experiment, it's a viral burn. That phrase alone is so smart. It taps directly into social media culture. It's a little clue that this is about more than just science, it's about creating an experience you'll want to share. The whole tone is just so energetic and relevant for a young digital native audience.
Okay, so once they've got your attention, the script transitions really smoothly into the practical side of things. But instead of listing a bunch of intimidating chemicals, it presents everything as ingredients for a recipe. This makes the whole thing feel way less intimidating and, honestly, a lot more fun. And this table, it's the perfect example of that recipe approach. It's simple, it's visual, and it's totally action-oriented. Sodium chloride just becomes table salt. Magnesium sulfate is just Epsom salt. And each one has a clear, predictable color. This strips away all the complexity and really empowers the child, making them feel like a little chemist.
But here's the thing, and this is probably the most important part. Before a single flame gets lit, the script builds this really robust safety container around the whole activity. The magic can only happen once the real-world rules are set in stone. This part is non-negotiable, and they present it with total clarity.
I mean, look how direct these rules are. There is zero ambiguity. The responsibility is put squarely on the adult, which frees up the child to just focus on the wonder of the experiment, all within these safe boundaries. It's really a masterclass in responsible science communication for kids.
All right, so the hook's in, we've got the recipe, and safety is covered. Now we get to the main event, what they call the flame show. They actually structure the whole procedure like a performance, almost in 4 acts, designed for maximum visual punch.
Just look at the words they're using here. Every step is an exciting call to action. Color ignite, epic flame show, and my favorite, pro flame twists. It just builds momentum and excitement, and it transforms what could be boring instructions into a thrilling step-by-step reveal.
So, the kids have seen the what. But what about the why? This is where a lot of science lessons, let's be honest, can lose their audience. But this script completely avoids that trap. They ditch all the jargon, and instead, they just tell a really simple, memorable story to explain the chemistry. So they bring in the hero of our story, the metal ion, but they don't just name it. They basically give it a job description. Metal ions are the tiny parts that store and release colored light. They're positioned as the secret ingredient, the real source of all the magic.
So here's part 1 of the story they tell. The science is given a personality. The ions get excited by the heat. That's a concept any kid can immediately understand. They're not just reacting chemically, they're having an experience.
And then, here comes the payoff. All that excitement has to go somewhere, right? And it's released as colored light, as the ions cool down. It's just a simple, elegant cause and effect story. Heat goes in, ions get excited, and color comes out. What's really happening is a complex atomic emission spectrum, but they've turned it into this simple 2-sentence tale. Brilliant.
And then they wrap it all up with this one perfect phrase. It brilliantly connects the abstract science of ion excitation to something every kid already knows and loves: fireworks. This single analogy just makes the science instantly click. It becomes intuitive and totally unforgettable.
And you know, the show doesn't just stop when the flames go out. The script has a really clear strategy to turn a one-time viewer into a long-term member of their community. This is about more than just a one-off lesson. It's about building an audience.
I mean, just look at this breakdown. It's so smart. Every single call to action has a clear purpose. Asking for comments drives engagement. Asking people to film and tag their own fire, that's free marketing and social proof. And of course, the likes, the subscriptions, the bell notifications, that's all designed to feed the platform's algorithm and make sure you come back for the next video. What you're looking at is a full-blown digital content strategy, all tucked inside a science lesson.
So, this all leads to a much bigger question, doesn't it? This script is such a powerful example of reframing. By presenting some pretty complex science as a form of safe magic, it totally bypasses any potential fear or boredom and plugs directly into a child's natural sense of wonder. So what does this tell us about the future of education? And about how we can unlock that same curiosity, not just in kids, but in all of us?